Sunday night sleep struggles are driven by anticipatory arousal, your brain running Monday like a threat preview, which means pep talks fail. Closing Monday's open loops before you close your eyes actually works. If you've ever found yourself lying awake at 11 p.m. on a Sunday, you know the exact texture of this noise. It starts with mental replays of the meetings you have to lead tomorrow, spirals into dread about an overflowing inbox, and usually finishes with a vague, hovering guilt that you didn't accomplish enough over the weekend. When this happens, highly driven people tend to blame themselves. You lie there sweating the details and decide that you're simply bad at relaxing. Sunday night insomnia is a direct symptom of unresolved professional demands colliding with the sleep window, rather than a psychological failing. It is a predictable response to the way you've structured your week. So you try to fix it by commanding yourself to calm down. You attempt to force relaxation through sheer willpower, but brute-forcing sleep requires effort, and effort is the exact signal your nervous system uses to stay awake. Then comes the habit of grabbing your phone to check one quick work email just to soothe the anxiety. Instead of closing a cognitive loop, you've just opened 50 new tabs in your head. These default coping mechanisms act as triggers that heighten hypervigilance and guarantee further insomnia. To understand Wallant's instrument, it cannot tell the difference between a high-stakes Monday morning strategy meeting and an immediate physical danger. When you load up your mental schedule, that anticipation triggers the exact same arousal pathways as a real-time threat. The result is a lighter sleep cycle, frequent awakenings, and rumination that you can't easily turn off. Your brain is functioning exactly as it evolved for survival. That biological feature is simply incompatible with the abstract pressures of a modern professional calendar. This cognitive friction is almost always compounded by a physiological variable known as social jet lag. Think about your weekend. A late night out on Friday, another on Saturday, followed by a Sunday morning lie-in. This sequence pushes your biological clock later into the day. By the time Sunday night rolls around, your alarm clock says it's time for bed, but your body disagrees. You are demanding sleep before you've built up the chemical drive to actually achieve it. Add in heavy weekend caffeine consumption, alcohol, and uninterrupted screen time, and your baseline arousal is already elevated. The sudden collision of this biological timeline shift with unmanaged cognitive loops creates a predictable recipe for insomnia. Because mental pep talks and brute force relaxation fail against this kind of anticipatory arousal, the fix must be structural. Job stress is a real constraint, but we can actively manage the self-inflicted arousal that keeps us awake. The first structural adjustment is environmental alignment. Keep your weekend wake times as close to your weekday baseline as possible to eliminate the circadian drift that causes social jet lag. Next, look at your schedule. Whenever you have the control, front-load your week with a lighter Monday. Minimizing those immediate surprises early in the week reduces the unknown variables that trigger your brain's threat preview. By aligning your physical sleep drive and your calendar, you lower your baseline physiological friction. That creates the necessary conditions for the cognitive offload to work. The core of that offload is the week load dump. It is a strict 10-minute ritual you execute right before your physical wind-down, meaning before you step into a cool room, turn down the lights, and do something boring. The protocol is simple. Do a short calendar scan, name the top 3 specific outcomes, write any floating worries down on a piece of physical paper. As you write, force a distinction. Separate what is strictly required of you on Monday morning from what is purely optional anxiety. Taking this step removes the burden of memory from your nervous system. Your brain will only signal your body to power down once those open loops have a physical, labeled parking spot outside of your head. There is one final rule for this ritual. The moment those open loops are closed on paper, every screen in your vicinity gets turned off immediately. If you take one thing from this, give yourself 10 minutes on Sunday evening to write down what Monday actually requires versus what you're afraid it requires. Close the loops on paper, then step away from screens. Effective sleep management starts with managing your